Welcome, everybody. This is a very special day brought to you by the Howmet Aerospace Foundation. I'm Diana Osborne, and I am the chair of the Board of Trustees. And I would just like to, before we get started, to acknowledge just a couple of people. We have other board members here. We have Dr. Don Crandall, Sean Mullally, and Roy Portinga. We also have Senator Bumstead here, and there's a lot of other people, but I think they'll be talking, and so you'll get to listen to them also. But before we get started, I would like to shout out and acknowledge Carolyn Sturrus, who is with us today.
Would be so pleased to know that this is available, and I'm sure he's just delighted with this day. Thank you all.
Thank you. Okay, then over the many years, Howmet Aerospace and its predecessor companies have partnered with Muskegon Community College to improve our educational experience. Donations go as far back as Howmet supporting the Stevenson Center for Higher Education that was dedicated in 1995 and continues current annual support of MCC events such as the Unity Breakfast and the STEAM Along the Lakeshore program, along with the major capital donation to help with the renovation of Muskegon Chronicle facility into the current Sturrus Technology Center. They are all about making a difference. Today we are celebrating a new grant to improve our automation program through the addition of 4 FANUC robots in our automation laboratory. Since we opened the Sturrus Technology Center in 2017 with new robots we were able to afford at that time, we have been eager to add more robots to our collection to deal with the many students looking to take robotics classes. We had been limited to 8 students per class due to equipment, but now we can double that number to 16. We truly would like to thank the Howmet Aerospace Foundation with today's program, during which a number of MCC staff and students will tell you what this donation will mean for them in MCC. We will go through the schedule of people and have listed in your program unannounced, beginning with Chuck Ammond, MCC automation instructor. But do want to close by saying just a couple of things. People who know me, when I speak, I usually mention a national day. But today when I looked it up, there didn't seem to be anything appropriate. So I thought, why not deem this Howmet Aerospace Foundation Day? So, yay. I also just want to say that you probably know that in real estate, the 3 most important things are location, location, location. Well, the 3 most important things here today are saying thank you, thank you, thank you. Chuck.
Thank you, Diana. I'm Chuck Ammond. I teach robotics at MCC. My career goes quite a ways back into the 80s, and I've spent most of my career before I started teaching was in automation and things like that. So I'm an electrical engineer. I've done a lot of programming and things like that through the years. So when I got a chance to teach here, it was a real thrill because I love this stuff. I spent so many years doing it with factory type computers, robotics, and things like that. Yeah, so when I got the chance to come in here, when we were moving downtown, we got some really nice grant money from the state of Michigan, plus the generosity of the Sturrus family and other donors. They said, hey, what do you want to buy? Because the other electronics teacher was retiring. He said, you're the one that's going to be working here, why don't you pick out some nice stuff? So I was able to buy a lot of factory type computers, servos, RFID readers, and robots. Lately, every single one of our classes has been overloaded. like Diana was saying, I've got a limit of 8 people in the class because I was running with 6 robots in here. Now, I didn't say that I wanted to go to 16 people. I would like to keep it with 8 and then have this many robots, but we'll work with that. There's so many people that are on a wait list. A lot of people want to learn robotics. It's becoming a lot more prevalent. It has been prevalent in a lot of factories, but it's becoming more and more prevalent when you go to some of these things. Just talking to one of my ex-students in here that works at GE Automation. How many robots did you say you have there? 38. 38 of them. And that's, a lot of companies have a lot more than that. So with these robots, I was able to order them. They've got inspection cameras on them. They've got lighting. They've got Ethernet connectivity. So these will be able to communicate with each other and other devices. The way I teach it, I have the students set up projects. So they'll have one robot hand off a piece, tell the other robot this piece needs to be modified. It'll do things. We're interacting with other servo motors and things like that. So everything in here I want to do is project-based. So the 2 ways that I teach robotics is in the regular classes where they get credit for it, but I do a lot of training on Fridays. It's industry training. So companies will send people here to do some workshop-type training. So I've got 2 of my former students here. One of them, Rand Mosier, was in one of my robotics classes, one of the standard classes. He works at Cole's Bakery. We were doing some robotics things. He was becoming more and more familiar. He said, hey, can I bring in some product and simulate something? He came up with a product line scenario that they wanted to do because it's a lot of manual labor. He set it up, filmed it, brought it back to work, and they said, would you like to design our new plant based on that? And then Dakota Hansen, I was teaching, actually he works at Eagle Alloy. I was teaching a class there with the ABB robots and getting them familiar with the offline programming and things like that on there. He actually came through MCC with a CAD degree. Yeah, so a lot of computer aided design. He picked up the robot stuff, loved it so much, so he's in charge of their robot programming at Eagle Alloy. He's actually so good with the ABB that when I have trouble coming up with solutions to certain things, he's the one that I get a hold of to find out how to do it because he deals with them day to day. So I don't know which one of you would like to come up first. Dakota? So yeah, this is Dakota Hansen from Eagle Alloy.
All right. Hi everyone, I'm Dakota Hansen. So as Chuck said, I work at Eagle Alloy. I've been there for 5.5 years now. My title is the Senior Engineering and Robotics Technician. I graduated from MCC actually twice, trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. But the second time I came through, I came downtown to the Sturrus Center and I got my CAD degree. Ended up getting an internship at Eagle Alloy. And at the time we had 2 robot cells there, and it was all outsourced programming. So we had like a third-party company come in and integrate them and set them up. What they do is they grind steel castings. Basically, what would happen is whenever we have issues, we would have to call that like third-party company to come in and correct them, but sometimes it would take them like 2 weeks to even come inside, so we would just have a couple of robot cells down. And one day my manager was like, man, we need a guy in-house that can program these things. So I was like, well, I don't really know a whole lot about the robots, but I got an open mind, so I just kind of dove right in. I took 1 class of official training at ABB, because those are the robots that we have. Took 1 class, kind of got the hang of it. Maybe a couple months went by. We ended up coming to MCC for like our workshop training that Chuck mentioned. He was our instructor. So I got my feet wet with the offline programming and got even more comfortable with it. And then from there, I went and took more training at the official ABB site in Auburn Hills. And because of Chuck's training here with the offline, the second and third classes that I took at ABB's facility were like extremely easy for me. I flew right through, and I started learning more and more. And then from there, I just took over programming at Eagle Alloy today. So we now have 4 grinding cells. We went from 2 to 4 in the past couple of years. Our third one, we still kind of did like a half and half. Like I did a little bit of programming, and we had like the outsource integrators come in. But then our 4th cell, I pretty much did the programming all on my own. And with our internal maintenance department, we built the cell from scratch. And then to piggyback off of that, as you learn more and more about the robots and how the cell works, you start involving a PLC. So we even had a workshop back here at MCC to take more PLC programming classes with Chuck too. So he assisted with that as well. So that's kind of been my journey. And it's been great for me, and very thankful for MCC. I mean, I love coming back here and seeing how things progress, and this is such a nice building, nice instructors. I mean, I can't say more. Like this place is great, and I think what more robots and people signing up for these classes. I think it's great for the community of Muskegon as well. I mean, that's kind of where things are going, is automation. We need more and more automation. So, and there's plenty of demand. So, any kids out there that want to pursue robotics, I think it's a really good career path, because there's going to be jobs for you. Obviously, there's a demand for it, and like where I work, I'm the only programmer. So. I mean, it's needed, and we couldn't really find somebody prior to me. So, yeah, I might be rambling now, but yeah. Any questions? All right, thanks, guys.
Hello, my name is Rand Mosier. I went through the program here as well. I started out as a regular maintenance guy, went through here like Chuck had said, started to learn the PLCs and the robots, made a video that Chuck came in on his own time and videotaped it all. We used, instead of garlic bread, we used hot dog buns on how like the machine would go, and it would load there would be somebody standing there doing 100 of them a minute, just hand feeding them on 2 different lines in 4 different places in the facility. We used hot dog buns. He showed me with these robots over there how to use the vision system and the grippers and how to talk to it with the PLCs. And I didn't know anything from anything. I had done RS Logix 500 with tow cars, which was before you. Went through that process, and it was so nice to have all this equipment in here to learn on new, more modern things rather than just seeing visual. Somebody telling you, because I do everything hands-on. If I can't do it, I don't learn it. So doing this is great. It has just changed my world dramatically. I took that video back to work. We seen that. They said that's great. They promoted me from a regular hourly maintenance person. I got promoted up to a maintenance supervisor. Then I went back and got some more credits through the college, became the maintenance design engineer there. So now I go through, oversee the whole product there. We are the product line that we just put in 4 years ago when I went through that project. They just loved it so much, we're putting another one in right now. We're installing it the week of Thanksgiving, doing the same thing. We're duplicating everything right in. If it wasn't for these robots, I'd probably still be just this facility, I'd still be a regular old maintenance guy just pumping grease. Which there's nothing wrong with that. My life was much simpler when I just pumped grease. But it's so much more fun to be the guy that they call and they see, and to be the problem solver and be like, oh, I know how to do that, and be able to grab that T-spread and not just go, I think this will do that and do that, but I can't really program them, but I can fix them, make them work. So, but yeah, other than that, I just love being able to come here and use all the equipment. And when I got a really bad problem, you know, I come in here and I know what hours Chuck's here. I'm like, hey, Chuck, what do I need to do? I don't know how this is. I mean, I know you taught me this. He's like, oh, yeah, no problem. Even if he's helping somebody else, I'll wait. And he'll just be like, oh, I'll be right with you when he's done. He's more than willing to help. And I'll come in with John. And many of you, I went to school with John. He was, we graduated high school together. So it's just so nice. I'm 2 miles down the road, and just to have this here is just a wonderful thing. I don't know what I would do without it. So, thank you.
Go ahead. Well, you can go first. No, you go first. Hi. I think I know all of you. That's what I love about Muskegon, right? It's like a little small family. You come in and there's so many things. And I think Howmet has so many things in our requirements as a business that match with community college. Equity, excellence, building students, building communities. And the interesting piece is, I mean, you guys work for great companies. I mean, John Workman is foundational. Everybody knows John. And John continues to push for education and students and co-ops and putting his money where his mouth is. And him and Mark have done that for as long as I've been around. He's been around longer than me. I started my career after I sold signs for a softball world out of college at Kohl's. And I got to see Kohl's go from making cakes to building the big end where my office was gorgeous. I went to Howmet and looked at a train track and went, I can't believe this. But to start the first automation, 110 loaves of bread a minute go through. You think about a bakery, that place is an automated machine. And it's very sophisticated in how they make butter and make bread, which sounds easy, and it's not easy in the volumes, right? So congratulations to you. And I think we all continue to build communities here. And this relationship back to 1995, Diana mentioned that, and our former owners, we are Howmet. Don't be confused, we're Howmet, right? We were always Howmet, by the way. Alcoa happened to buy us, and we continued to bleed blue in Whitehall, Michigan, and moved to Arconic, and now are back to that namesake, which you probably heard the cheers back to Muskegon from Whitehall in 2000 when we took the Howmet name back. So we're very proud of that. Back in 1995, however, I was just fairly new at Howmet, a couple years at Howmet, and I had had some community exposure from being at Kohl's. And when we gave the money for the Sturrus Technology Center, I remember it was like, you can't tell anybody. Shh, we'll give you money. If you tell somebody, we have to take it back, right? So the company's really changed in terms of getting out there in front of the commitment to this community and our responsibility as the builders here and the income, right, and economy that gets built with great companies and great educational institutions. You know, we began way back, I was trying to figure that out, Gordon Reinhardt, back in the early 2000s around the equity piece and beginning to talk about those things and bringing, it was the Institute for Healing Racism back at that time. And I hated that title, right? But the you know, unintentional bias that we began to talk to our leaders about and work with the college as the right place to house that. And now also helping to fund Ken's group and organization in Muskegon Community College, being the absolute community convener to own those huge responsibilities for this town and this community. So we continue to be engaged. It's exciting to see what, you know, belonging to an amazing organization that brought the parental advantage of the Alcoa Foundation that's stayed with us now back to Howmet and being able to provide these things that certainly meet the goals of our business and workforce readiness and absolutely growth in this community and STEM education, which we try to feed at all different levels. Sean Mullally, our colleague, right? We build that. We build communities, worked really hard with us on our latest UAW contract in Whitehall to secure 5 more years of growth here, which is important, and our employees, and we applaud Sean for that. We appreciate that. And just continuing to engage, we'll continue to engage with the college. This relationship, however, built for us a really unique opportunity that brings us here today. I'm going to introduce to you John Hislop, who is the Vice President General Manager for Howmet Airfoils. He's the guy who drags me out of Muskegon 2 weeks a month, so I can't be in all the places I want to be in. But John is also a member of the Howmet Foundation Board of Directors, so has a lot of influence over the large grants and the amount of dollars. That's probably over $12 million coming back into Muskegon County from those foundations. So, John? Oh, I forgot John Bumstead, who's always in our corner, right?
I will say that if you really know Amy, you know that I, in fact, don't drag her around anywhere. Okay. It is a good point, right, John? Yeah. I, too, first time I've actually stepped foot in this building, and I too, started with Howmet, and Alcoa bought us, and then Arconic, and I never really recognized it because Howmet, the reason why I joined Howmet was because Howmet was such a technical company, driving innovation, driving the spirit into the future, and that really excited me. I spent 6 years in the Air Force flying on the C-141B, and during that time frame, respecting kind of what turbine engines are all about and how they help protect us in the military. And I ended up getting a job at Howmet. Amy actually hired me, so it's your fault, okay? But she brought me into Howmet, and I got to tell you, from the time I stepped foot in there, the technology these guys do is incredible. On the shop floor, we talk about skilled trades. Very, very hard to get the talent that we need in our pipeline and for the future, and for Dakota and Rand. Man, from the foundation side of things, it's very impressive, the impact that it's having into the community. So I appreciate the comments and the things that you've said. But from a foundation standpoint, when we think about deploying funds into the communities, we really, our strategy is really pretty simple. Okay, we really are going to be focused on STEM. We want to be making sure that we're putting money to work on driving engineering and skilled trades. That's what it's all about. We did make a choice to change how much we deploy and how many grants we deploy. We chose to go with fewer grants, but larger. Okay, and the reason we did that is because we wanted to be able to make bigger impacts. And if we can have the right partnerships with teams we trust, like MCC, that gives us the confidence that the money that we put to work will not end nowhere, but it'll provide innovation and innovators for our future. So it's a big step for us. The other thing that's really important is that we put the money to work in areas that we operate. The reason why we want that is because we know how important it is to participate. We don't just want to give money and walk away. We want to give money and help bring that money to the impact that we just heard Dakota and Rand talk about. So I would say that on behalf of the Board of Directors to Muskegon Community College, thank you for being great partners and being highly engaged. And certainly congratulations on what I'm seeing behind me. And I'm told I get a tour after this, and I'm going to go down to see a foundry, which I never knew existed here. So very excited about that. So congratulations to the team.
All right, thank you all. My name is John Selman, I'm the president here at Muskegon Community College, and one of our biggest responsibilities is making sure that students succeed. And we're so pleased to have two examples today here. If they would just stand, and we just want to applaud this employees that have gone through here. So Dakota and Rand, thank you for being here. It's important, and it's so important, so absolutely. This amazing donation will benefit the college for many years to come, and so we're so proud to be a partner and a recipient of the grant. Howmet Aerospace Foundation, I'd like to express my sincere appreciation to you and all you do here in this community, and we certainly appreciate your investment alone. And your partnership with MCC does not go unnoticed, so just so you know that. We're glad that all of you, some of the other employers, send students to us to get the training and expertise that they need to make a difference as it relates to workforce training and development. And I want to thank all the staff that's here, you know, you have a small event like this, but it takes a real group to put this together. So I'm always impressed when our staff, we get together and we have something like this nice and cozy, but it's important. And so again, I would like to just thank you for being here and supporting this. I want to wrap this up though by saying that let's mingle a little bit. We didn't get to mingle as much before this started, but let's mingle a little bit, have some refreshments, and just catch up and talk to each other a little bit. And so again, I'm really proud. Muskegon Community College is the community's college. And I can't emphasize that enough. We are not a college just sitting here in this community, but we are the community's college. And we want to make a difference, so thanks for partnering with us. Amy Heiser for all you do, and in the region, in the county, and especially here at the college. So thank all of you. The senator is here as well, and Carolyn Sturrus. So thank all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Tour. There is a tour if you want to look around. Okay. So.
Right here, as the middle, come right in the middle. So.
Yeah. These machines are impressive. They were working a little bit ago, so you know it might.
Go for it.
Okay.
We're gonna get in Howmet Media, right? So.
Okay, I'll jump out.
No, you're
Oh,
not.
stay?
Yeah,
Okay, okay, all right. Good deal.
Dan, you should get in here too.
You can't.